Hello and welcome to another episode of Low Tech Health. Let ourselves translate expert knowledge. I'm your host, Brad Burns. Welcome back. I know I said I was going to do a Wasabi Walnut What's Hurting My Tummy Thursday in order to make up for missing Wasabi Walnut What's Hurting My Tummy Wednesday, but today is Friday, so I'm doing a Wasabi Walnut What's Hurting My Tummy Friday, and stay tuned for a Forget My Foul Mouth Friday coming up a few minutes after this episode has posted. So, what are we wrapping up? Truth. The truth is, I've had a little bit of a recovery period from traveling across the country, picking up a new job, taking 2 days of orientation, and ready to get to hitting the floor tonight, actually, all on my lonesome. And you know, it's nice because Wasabi Walnut, What's Hurting My Tummy? Just displaced rationality. These nurses at this hospital have been ravaged. The doctors have been ravaged. They had pretty hard COVID numbers, deaths of numbers of like 20 a day, and this is a smaller hospital, like a 30-something bed ICU that's turned to a 50-bed ICU. And they just saw a lot of death and a lot of destruction. The doctors got in the way of probably having the nurses put in orders that they really shouldn't, and it's staying that way. It's become very common for nurses to put in orders for doctors, which my old hospital you could do, but it was something that you really didn't have to. You had an NP, PA, mid-level, post-grad year 2 there 24 hours. They were always there at the hospital, and that was really helpful as far as having providers care for their patients, because I'm a nurse. I'm just a nurse. I'm just here to follow orders. So Wasabi Walnut, What's Hurting My Tummy? When I start to provide care, I start to take a step out further into something I shouldn't be doing, practicing medicine. And I don't have malpractice insurance because I don't need it, because I'm not fucking practicing medicine. As long as I cover my ass by discussing what it is that I'm doing with the physician and what has changed and what should be more likely observed or assessed, and they either pursue or refuse, I chart that, because that is me covering what a nurse should do, which is advise, advocate, and step back. You don't place orders, you don't practice medicine, because they are smarter in their ways of differential diagnosis. We may feel things, we may be the closest to the patient, but there's sometimes when we may not see the forest from the trees, and that is something I appreciate. I like being this close because I am kind of in the thicket with the patient, wondering when the helicopter is going to come. I'm a little safer because I have these practices, and this patient has been shot, whatever. They're in trauma somehow, some kind of physical trauma. I'm helping them through it. But sometimes, some places, the chopper's not coming, and that's the truth, and that's what's hurting my tummy a little bit, really. I have to think about it, because this is a hospital that is very indicative of everywhere in America. They don't understand what's been happening to their body for 60 years. They are a little overweight. Have never been told it's something that's going to affect everything, every part of their body. It's not about vanity, as this area would have you think, but it's about actual health. Every pound of body fat is another 1,000 miles of blood vessels needing to be perfused, creating fat pockets that don't do you any good, except store energy, which maybe there's going to be a pandemic where you have to starve yourself. But it looks like this pandemic, you just got to shit yourself. I don't know. I'm still wondering about the toilet paper thing. Anyways, what's hurting my tummy? Overstepping care. I asked a few nurses about what the vibration, not vibration, it's getting me staying out here, what the current legislator and precedents of malpractice suits is, because in the state I came from, there's a cap at $1 million on malpractice suits, and any malpractice suit has to be approved from the American Physician Association, which is, it has to be a problem. There has to be a real problem. It can't just be anybody suing anybody and having to drag them into court and put names on paper. But they didn't know. No one knew in this state, which you'd think they would. It's a pretty litigious state in the West. But they don't. Maybe somebody does. Stay tuned. Till next time. In a few hours. Shoot. 30 minutes. I'll post Forgive My Foul Mouth Friday. And I'll be back on schedule for next week. Love you guys. See you in a few minutes.